Hey, it's Charlie here from Outsourcing Angels, and today I'm lucky to be joined by Liliana. Liliana is actually in Mexico at the moment on a trip, which is very exciting, and we've managed to grab her for 10 minutes so she can talk with us about her experience with a virtual assistant. How are you doing, Liliana?
I'm very well, Charlie. Thank you very much, and thank you very much for having me here today.
No, we're very excited to have you. And for those of you who don't know, can you tell us a little about what you do, Liliana?
Yes, absolutely. So, basically, as you mentioned, I'm in Mexico, so I am Mexican, but I live in Australia, and I have a business called the Multicultural Language Center, which is a language school, and we mainly offer language courses to Australian people in Spanish, French, Italian, and Portuguese.
Oh, fantastic. Great little business. I was just saying before the call, like language learning is such a huge industry in the world. I think you're onto a winner there. So I guess we'll tie straight into it because Liliana is a client of Outsourcing Angels and she does have a lovely VA, Joanne. So I guess we'll start from the beginning. How did you know it was time for you to hire a VA in your business?
Yes, definitely. Well, basically, it's because I wanted to have the opportunity to travel. When I started my business, I spent a lot of time back in Australia, working for the business and in the business. But then you go to the time where I thought, okay, now I really need to start looking at freeing a little bit of my time, and I need some support. So basically my boyfriend came to me, look, why don't you look at getting a virtual assistant? And for a long time, I was a little bit resistant about, getting these kind of services because I always thought, maybe they're not going to really understand what I need or what, like the work, and they are in another country and I am not sure. And so I was very, very hesitant until I thought, I really need to change, my way of working now. I could actually employ someone in Australia, but of course, as you can imagine, the cost of getting an assistant in Australia to someone overseas is a lot higher. So anyway, I thought, look, I'm just going to try, see how we go, and if I don't like it, well, I can always cancel the service. But I have to say, since I had Joanne for the first day, I was really impressed, and she's incredible, very professional. Anything that she was unsure about, she will always ask, and she will always come up with a solution. So that was fantastic because then that allowed me to organize a few trips overseas and basically free a little bit more of my time to visit my family, like what I'm doing right now in Mexico.
Yeah, I think it's extremely cool that you've managed to work a VA into your business to kind of create some more freedom. Like it's become a bit more about kind of being able to go to Mexico and do those other trips. And, the economic advantage is obviously one, like the dollar is much stronger on overseas staff, which is incredibly lucrative as long as you can be committed to kind of making that work. So I guess I'll tie into the next part here. What type of stuff do you, Joanne, do for you on a day-to-day basis or weekly basis?
Well, initially it was more about trying to catch up with some work. Apart from the classes, the language classes, we also organize events. So quite a few events on, August, July. So I thought, okay, I need to catch up on my administration work. And Joanne was perfect for this kind of work, with even entering information for my accounts, also in sourcing any kind of information that I needed, really. So for example, if I wanted to make a new ad for a course, she would even suggest ideas and we put something together. If I said to her, okay, I need you to send information to the students, she would do that. She's amazing, really. Like, pretty much any little task that I think or big. And as I say, relating to administration, accounting, she has been very, very helpful, and marketing as well.
Fantastic. That's what I'd like to hear. So I'll tag on, what's your favorite task to give you VA?
Uh, the ones that I don't like doing myself.
Because I have to admit, mine definitely is. I love that my VA can schedule in appointments. That's one of mine, and email are my two big ones, which I've mentioned before. Any favorites besides the ones you don't like doing?
Um, Oh, I guess just the type of things that take me a lot of time, and I think that are not necessarily, um, like I feel like I could be working more on developing the business rather than that. Like, for example, like sending emails to the students, reminders, and these kind of things. So they are good because I feel like I can actually be spending time on other ideas to see how I can develop further the business.
Brilliant.
So basically, because they're time consuming, and if she can do them for me, then that means that I can free my time to just to think about what else I can do to continue to grow.
So in the beginning, when you did first start with your VA, did you find there was any challenges with getting things set up and getting it working now? Like my own experience was that, the first month, there was a lot of teething and getting to know each other and how each other works, but we're certainly reaping the rewards of that now. How was it from your side of things?
Oh, I think it was just more for her to understand my system, because as most school have calendar that is set, months and months in advance. With us, it doesn't work like that. We pretty much make the calendar as we go month by month. So there is a lot of updating to be done. It's incredibly time consuming. So I think it was more for her to understand that process, which is really, quite intricate. And but once she got it, like, she's now perfectly fine. So it was just pretty much that initial part. The only other thing that maybe now, even for myself being here in Mexico, is that when I need to get back onto the administration or the back end of my website, we have a little bit of a restriction because of the security tools that are, onto my website. But that's obviously nothing to do with the assistant or with me. It's just the way the website is set up.
Well, I'm sure that's something we can look at as well. So we'll probably take that conversation out of here, because we've got some really great tech people around that might be able to solve this really easy. And Lynn's got a heap of experience in this area also, so we can kind of offer a little bit of assistance there. So how's your experience? How's your experience been with working with Outsourcing Angel? How have you found, Lynn and the team, and Wendy, who I'm sure you've had to deal with as well?
Yes, everyone has been great. Especially in the beginning, there was obviously, the support not just from Joanne, but from Lynn and Wendy as well. So always, making sure that we created a system so we could have, just to set a way of operating. So then and another thing that I think is amazing is that Joanne sends me like a daily report, with the tasks that she performed, etc. So what I really liked is that all of this is, it's monitored. So it's not like, oh, let's see if they reply or not. It's actually very well looked after, and you feel like you are looked after. So,
yeah.
Yes, you get the girls,
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I love the daily reports also. Like, it's very good. And what I found I get is you start to get a judgment of how long things take to do. So if you're looking at this and you're going, okay, well, this is what someone can get done in a day, or this is the tasks, or, why did this task take longer than it should have? And you can often find your issues or maybe processes that need to be worked on from those reports. So very, very valuable.
Yes, exactly. So what I'm basically catching up on, so much work that I had behind. So I'm thinking, okay, now I need to create more work because, I'm thinking, oh, I'm running out of tasks. I need to create more tasks, which is, it's good, because that means that, like Joanne is being very efficient. Yes.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. I wouldn't complain about that. I'm like, awesome. Go, Joanne.
Exactly. But I'm also thinking, well, okay, now we have completed the initial task that I had for me to catch up, with the work that I had before. So she's pretty much finished doing, those tasks. And I'm thinking, okay, what can we do next to business?
Yeah, well, now it's time to kick it up a level. Now you get to do the fun stuff. For me personally, like I was exactly the same. It's like I had this base set of skills that was like, I need this done, and then once that's done, I'll worry about it. And what actually ended up happening is I started to look at the business and say, well, what tools or skills could I add in now that would make a huge difference to me? So for instance, like, and I think this comes up in every interview, Podio, is where we look at this and I said, look, if my VA could now take on something like Podio, that's going to be a massive value to my business. Or if she could learn some basic Photoshop skills, then that's going to add a massive value to my business. So the direction I'd kind of be saying is now it's time to think about what would be the next list of things that would be nice to have, and then start working on some training and incorporating that in. So that's you're at a very exciting time.
Yes, and I'm thinking actually asking Joanne if she knows how to make videos, as in like editing.
I actually think some of the VAs actually have that skill, and there's some recommended kind of software and tools. So I'll put this in the link for anyone that's listening who wants them as well. But I think we'll be able to help you out in that area also. Now, just to be clear, I'm sure it won't be production quality editing, like if we paid a massive quality company, but basics of like cutting and moving things around is definitely something a VA is capable of doing.
Yes.
So the last question I always like to go with, and this is one that I think is particularly valuable, and if you want to take a second to think about it, is for the person who's watching this that hasn't got a VA yet, but's thinking about it or likes the idea, what would your advice to them be?
Well, I think it's definitely worth trying. As me, as the way I mentioned before, I was very skeptical about it, and I had a lot of people talking about the benefits, but I never really believed until I tried. And all I can say is that it's been incredibly productive for my business, and I'm pretty sure it will be for other people with their own businesses as well. So I think it's definitely worth it, because the way I've been communicating my virtual assistant has been amazing, and I definitely don't regret it at all. So I'm pretty sure it's going to be very beneficial for anybody who is a little bit uncertain. So I think maybe they should try, and I really don't think they will have any regrets.
Well, that's exactly it. It's a very well, it is very low risk. At the end of the day, if you try it for a month and it doesn't work out, I think it's a very worthy thing to try, which I'm on the same page with you, and it's how I got started also. From that point on, we'll call it from here. Thank you so much for joining me on this interview. It's been a pleasure to have you all the way from Mexico.
Sure, my pleasure. It has been lovely talking to you.
Agreed. I hope we can do it again sometimes. And for those of you who want to check out what Joanne does, what Liliana does, Joanne's her VA, I will put some links under this video so you can take a look at her website and get a bit more of a feel for what a VA does for her. All right. Thank you, Liliana. Have a great day.
You too. See you later. Bye.
See ya.